Hello YouTube! We continue our series of feedbacking patch 2.0 and Bob the Builder has a lot to say today. We want to help the team to realize what is really good, but to also identify flaws and show some ways to make Warcraft and patch 2.0 better. Today's topic is one that is kind of near and dear to my heart, UI UX. How good is what we see in menus and how easy is it for the customer, for the user to navigate through the menus? That is quite important because you don't want to spend too much time in menus, you want to spend time in the game. And when we start Warcraft now, I got good news because it looks fantastic! We got the old background back, we got the old menu style back. They even swapped it from left to right to match the old design. That is lovely. I feel at home. And it's gorgeous. I love that background so much. I love the look and feel. What I don't like necessarily is the functionality. Because it is the functionality of 20 years ago matched with the looks of 20 years ago. And navigating through this menu is quite a slog. It is, I don't want to say tasking, but there's problems with that. Because nothing starts from here. If you boot up the game, you need at least 2 clicks to load something and get playing. And that is 1 click too much in my opinion. I want to start gaming. There's no continue campaign button, there's no quick search, and also there's no distributed information about the game that we might have in the BattleNet launcher. So something you could do is to eliminate the single player submenu section and just display it in the main menu. Or take an element of the multiplayer screen and show me when the next tournament is and what my progress this season is, because cleverly the progress this season's part of the multiplayer UI already has the mode selection and a quick match button. You can then move the entire menu that is usually on the right hand side to the bottom, so everything is accessible at all times when this menu at the bottom, this lower third, stays there. You could also, if you don't like this and you want to keep the screen open and let it breathe, you could create, while keeping the menu at the bottom, something that opens when you click on single player. You click it and then you get all the options here. Much cleaner. You don't have to reload the entire UI because I will show you it is rather annoying. You click on single player. Ah! Now my screen switched. Shit. Okay, again. You click on single player. Menu goes up. You hear the chains rattle. Menu comes down. You have to make one more step though. Menu goes up. You hear the chains again. And that is constantly the case in every single piece of the menu. And while it's cool to hear that 5 to 10 times, when you spend a day in these menus, it's really annoying. That would be lovely to see. So let's move on with the campaign. I kinda like it, but after having 2 open screens, this is shoved in our face and it's a lot. This is very cramped. This is the campaign selection. The books look amazing. I like all this decor. I like the book idea. I like that it's glowing a little bit. I think these parts of the UI, the backgrounds, could be animated and the font doesn't fit the book cover. This could be overhauled as well, but in general it's totally fine. This does look even more cramped when you open stuff in the middle, I think, and there is a lack of functionality in that you still have to scroll like it was in the first iteration of Reforged. So it doesn't save you from scrolling. Maybe that can be done in a different way with a second row or something. That would be cool. So, back to the menu. You can do these sub menus also for multiplayer. You have a sub menu in multiplayer already. It could lead you directly, if you just hover over multiplayer, to versus, custom games, tournaments, ladder, and profile, just the way it is in the multiplayer screen. Currently, what we have in Warcraft 3 menus is pretty much this. You have the main menu as a hub. You can go to solo, but from solo, you can't go anywhere else. You have to go back to the main menu to then go to multiplayer. If you're in multiplayer, you cannot go to solo, but you can go to replays, which is also part of the main menu. But if you're in multiplayer, you can't go to the LAN screen because you have to go through the main menu. And from LAN, you can't go to replays, not to solo, etc, etc. It is really weird, and every single step is a click, is rattling chains, is a disappearing and appearing element of the menu. Other games do it differently with the lower third menu. And with the lower third menu, you can access everything from everywhere. Solo is connected to multiplayer, replays, and LAN. From LAN, you can also go to multiplayer, solo, and replays. Everything goes back and forth from all position to everywhere. This is, for example, noticeable at StarCraft 2. You have the main elements of the menu at the top: campaign, co-op, versus, custom, collection, replays. There you have the subsection that is way better designed than what I just showed you, but it's essentially what I want to show you. Then these sub-elements are functional. They let you choose the race very prominently. They have the ladder up, they have your progress. This is great. Also, Stormgate is doing this. The game received a lot of criticism for the first iteration, but this menu at the top is great because you can go from A to B to C and back with one click here at the top left play section. In Warcraft 3, that is not possible, and I think that is quite a flaw. Because even when we go to the multiplayer menu, I still can't play directly. I can play directly if I want the same as before, but maybe I want to switch my race. Then I have to go to Versus, where I also, for the first time, see my profile. It is hidden in this subsection. Same as my map preference that don't have a preview, which is pretty bad. I do have my chat though, but is it necessary that a party requires this much space when I have the same functionality here at the bottom? That's double. We don't need that. And I know, dear friends, that I've started a little bit of a war with the chat in Warcraft 3. And I want to put that to the side because I am certainly happy for you that you get what you wanted. But do we really need that much space for the chat? I don't think so. Nobody types this long. The middle of the screen is basically useless at the moment. So what you could do is move the friend list one block to the left and put in your season progress on the right hand side. Then you can switch game modes, and you could also maybe change the race from here on out, which would make it easier. Then you could also put in a quick join for custom games. If you are looking for a TD to play, you wouldn't have to go to custom games, but could just do it from here, maybe with a toggle between profile, what we've seen before, and custom games. That would be way more helpful. It would save us clicks. It would save us from the rattling chains. And I think it's an easy change that one can do, while keeping all the functionality and the chat in there. Speaking of chat, I know I haven't been the biggest fan, and I wasn't wasn't the biggest defender of chat. But chat is here, and I'm not gonna argue against it in this video. Because surprisingly, the chat that I've seen was quite nice. The chat is flawed in a UI UX way though. So let me show you why. You end up in a channel called W3 General. With /join W3 General, you can join multiple of these general channels. These general channels have no number indicator. And they behave very weirdly because it's not that one room gets filled to a limit, and if the one room is full, you create the next. There's an infinite amount of rooms at the moment. Some have 12 users, some have 5, this one has 2. Why? This needs to be fixed. And we need number indicators. And we need to fill rooms before creating new ones. This is a bit odd and should be improved relatively easy. Then the chat itself is very hard to read in my opinion, because if a text line starts, you see the room first and not the name, which is a bit odd. And then the lines, like the channels get mixed even though you have it selected. The names are very small. The chat lines itself are very small. And there is so much empty space, as I said before. I'd like to see a better name indicator. I'd like to use the space more efficiently. Because there's only so many profile pictures and not everybody has their custom profile picture, right? So this is a bit confusing, but should also be an easy fix. So, the summary of the menu. Essential functions are hidden in submenus. For example, the access to the custom game list, the access to versus settings where you select your race, you select your game modes, you pick your maps. This was done better in the first version of Reforged. The click flow was a lot better and saved us clicks and animations. Essential info is also hidden in the submenus. Statistics, the rankings, the match history, all that. Map picks have no preview as well. I would love to have this streamlined and to be accessible easier. Maybe with an because if you're here, the lower third menu that I showed you at the beginning fits here perfectly without crowding it up too much or cramping it up too much. I think that would be cool and doable as it is in StarCraft and Stormgate and Valorant and Dota and every other game there is out there. There are a couple of issues that should be fixable. If you right click on a lobby, you can download the map, for example. If you click on that at the very top, that is totally fine. There's a little bit of a bug though, because it scales with you. If you click a little bit further down, the box moves with you and also goes further down. So you can't download or join anymore via right click. And then of course it disappears. Massive issue is at the moment is that one long line of text completely breaks custom lobbies. That should be super easy to fix with a wrapper, even though it's just one word. Please don't do that. Leave the lobbies intact. But Blizzard, this needs a fix. Then, more menus. The hotkeys were supposed to be a killer feature. I find this to be very confusing. Not only in functionality, which we'll get another video, but also in the look and navigation from it. Because here, I don't really know where the stuff is on my command card. Is move up left? Was it up right? Was it second row? I want to recreate a grid. I don't really remember. So, way better is Warcraft 3 Champions. You can just copy it, as I said before. It's so clean, it's so functional, it's easy to remember what you want and where you want it. And ideally, you could move buttons around too. That would be a nice functionality, but way more on functionality later, as we also need inventory. collection for the skins is also quite messy. I like that skins are separate from portraits because it's two very different things. An issue here is, and I want to go into the game again for that. If I go to collection, and first of all, Spoils of War should be mixed with all the others. Thrall should be at Orc. Jaina should be at Human, etc, etc. It makes no sense anymore. It's a relic of pre-patch 2.0 that these are still separate. Anyway, this is not too user-friendly because if I change my skins for the Tavern Heroes and then want to change my skins for the Human Heroes, I have to scroll all the way back instead of clicking somewhere. And there's also an alternative where this is done better, and that is the Quenching mod. Quenching mod has a skin system for a long time, and their big upside is they have unit skins, etc. So you can filter here already. You can filter via race very easily. Then select the hero, then select the skin, and it displays the skin very, very prominently. I think they do it a lot better. They do have a lot more skins as well, and it's a little bit different from how they behave as they are only using Reforged and not Reforged and Classic combined. But I think you can definitely take some inspiration from the skins system of the Quenching mod. So yeah, that is pretty much my UI feedback for now. I do have a couple of things to nitpick, but in general, that is it for this video. Hopefully Blizzard can learn a little bit. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. Let me know how you would optimize the click flow of the menus, and maybe you have a great example of something that one should copy, or you say, Neo, you're totally wrong. I want the UX of 20 years ago. It's great. Leave it all alone. Most important is you leave comments. That helps us to climb in the algorithm and gets recommended to more people. Take care. Next video is the system of the multiplayer. So, see you there.